Good evening, everybody. I hope you guys had a wonderful dinner. And now that you know about management of change in ELC, thank you, Marty. That was a great presentation. So we want to go ahead and talk about the leaderboard. Check out the ACT-IAC app. Okay, David Yang is still.
Congratulations, David. I got to say, I'm a little disappointed in Rory Schultz. Where is he? We're a little disappointed. I mean, USDA. So, but we do appreciate everybody posting their experiences and their learning in the app. This is really a great use of the app, and I think there's going to be a lot of information here for people to fall back on after this conference.
And ACT-IAC is more than just an association. It really is a family. At least it feels that way to me, and I hope it does to you too. So I'd like to take a moment to let you know that one of our family members and founders, Izzy Feldman, is gravely ill. ACT-IAC is indebted to Izzy for all of his hard work and foresight in helping make the association what it is today. His family is posting updates on Izzy's Facebook page, so you can look at that to find out how he's doing. But please keep Izzy and his family in your thoughts and prayers.
So, speaking of family, the ACT-IAC Fellows are a tight-knit group of 820 Voyager and partner graduates that Mitzi and I are both proud to be a part of. So everybody who's a fellow, please stand up.
All our fellows, stand up.
All right.
That's impressive.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, some of you may know that I was in the Voyagers program many years ago when I was in industry, and I joined the government, and then I returned to the Voyagers program as a chair, as a vice chair one year, and then a chair the following year. I was chairs with Tristan Yancey, who's here somewhere, I think. Rory was also our vice chair, then he was a chair. So a lot of history of not just being in the program, but taking leadership roles in the program. And being in the Voyagers was one of the best experiences I had while I worked in industry, and it was an even better experience after I joined the government.
And I was a partner in 2001, and I tell people that becoming a partner and then a fellow was one of the best things I could ever do for my career. So, if you're thinking about applying for any of the ACT-IAC professional development programs, Jolene Merkel and Malcolm Harden are in the audience tonight. So if I can get those guys to stand so that you know who they are. And if you have any questions, ask a fellow or one of these two. That would be great. Now it's time to recognize the 2017 Voyagers class. This class and its chairs have been working very hard for the past 9 months and will shortly join our family of fellows this evening.
So we'd now like to welcome the Voyager chairs, Kristen Napper and Mark Valsage, to the stage.
You got it.
Good evening. My name is Kristen Napper.
My name is Mark Valsage.
It has been our great honor to be the co-chairs of the 2016-2017 ACT-IAC Voyager program.
The ACT-IAC Voyagers program is a 9-month professional development program for rising stars in government and in industry. The term Voyager denotes someone who makes a long journey in search of new knowledge. We are very happy you're here to share in the celebration of the accomplishments and unique qualities of our graduating class of 2017. Among other activities, this year's members have planned breakfast and afternoon events, attended Leadership J, which was a joint Franklin Covey training day with the 2017 partners class, who will be graduating at ELC. They have also taken part in 2 off-site training events, participated in individual mentoring programs, and executed a very successful Voyager's Got Talent charity event. It was really a great experience for the entire class as well as the leadership team.
Building on the continued success of the executive level partners program, the Voyager program's objective is to prepare mid-level managers for the future leadership roles. Government and industry Voyagers learn about key information technology challenges while honing their leadership skills that will take them to the next level in their careers.
A key element of the Voyagers program is the mentoring experience. Each Voyager is paired with a mentor who dedicates one-on-one time with a Voyager to discuss professional and career challenges. In fact, some former Voyagers are now mentoring new participants in the mentoring program. Thanks to all who have volunteered your time as a mentor, and additionally, we'd like to thank our guest speakers who contributed their time, knowledge, and experience to ensuring that this program was successful. Both the speakers and the mentors are an integral part of what makes the program successful. We deeply appreciate your willingness to share your knowledge and your experiences.
One reason for the repeated high application response rate is the Voyager graduates that help to recruit new applicants. Now is the time to nominate your future rising stars to be Voyagers. Application process for the 2018 Voyager class is now open on the ACT-IAC website. The experience requirement for government is GS 11 through 13, and for industry, mid-level managers with a preference of 6 to 12 years. So then the program is designed to keep time commitments reasonable and to deal with their hectic schedules.
And by the way, Kristen and I were both partners from the 2012 Partners Program. Yep. So, just to echo and continue on from Mitzi and Jonathan's feedback earlier, it was a very enriching program, both professionally and personally, and we continue to give back to the ACT-IAC professional development programs and have really gotten a lot out of it and have seen others get a lot out of it. So Kristen and I would like to thank, in addition, our vice chairs. So if you could please stand when I announce your name. First, we've got Warren Blankenship with GSA. Next is Jimmy Jones with the Department of Transportation. Brian Baker with CA Technologies. And Mike Barrera with Gamma One Technologies. Their creativity in leading and designing many of the program activities contributed enormously to its success. We'd also like to extend a big thank you to Casey Harris.
Yay!
Casey was fairly new to the role, and she just blew away every expectation that everybody had. She did a fabulous job coordinating and managing the logistics so that every event ran smoothly. Without all of their supports, we never would have been able to accomplish all that we did.
Now it's time to officially graduate the Voyager class of 2017. This also marks the beginning, as they will now become the newest ACT-IAC Fellows, an alumni group now of over 850 members. So we're now going to announce your names individually, but please stay seated. And then if everyone will please hold their applause till the end. So thank you very much. This year's government Voyagers are Helencia Brown, Smithsonian Institution; Joshua Camaret, United States Department of Agriculture; Tina Chen, Environmental Protection Agency; Camilla Connolly, Department of Homeland Security; Lorraine Harmon, Department of Interior; Tamara Knighton, Department of Housing and Urban Development; Kimberly McLaughlin, Department of Veterans Affairs; Jasmine Miller, Department of Homeland Security; Chelsea Rainier, Department of Homeland Security; Stephanie Shutt, General Services Administration; Patrick Sisk, Securities and Exchange Commission; Elizabeth Sundin, General Services Administration; Tom Walsh, Department of Veterans Affairs; Kimberly Womble, United States Department of Agriculture; Nahid Yusufi, Department of State; and Brianna Zach, General Services Administration.
And now for this year's industry Voyagers. Aliza Ali with Leidos, Justin Bean with Accenture, Frederick Duvall with Prometheus Computing, Jeff Derogatis with AT&T, Megan Onpue with Genesis, Mike Fisher with BRMI, Ray Holder, DXC Technology, Becky John, CGI, Federal, Dan Kowalczyk, Interpros Federal Inc., Corey McConnell, ICF, Juan Robles, Carson Solutions, Brandon Schreckheis, the Emmett Group, Jay Stratman, Booz Allen Hamilton, Joshua Temple, Booz Allen Hamilton, Ryan Tran, Aquatech Consulting Group,
At their final breakfast, we asked the Voyagers to describe the program in 5 words or less. We'd like to share their videos with you, as well as some of their photographs from their last year.
Do you think we had some fun along the way? Just a little bit. Okay, now with the Voyagers class of 2017, please stand. Congratulations. Each of you has successfully completed the requirements of the Voyagers program, and you're now an ACT-IAC Fellow. Please join me in a round of applause for these great leaders. All right.
Okay.
Good job.
Yep.
All right, calm down. So, thank you, Kristen Mark, and congratulations again to our newest set of fellows. And as Kristen noted, we're now up to 850 fellows, which means we are just a few classes away from having our 1,000th fellow. So I wonder who that's going to be. It's going to be very exciting. It's now time to present the John J. Franke Award winner. I'd like to have prior recipients of this award who are with us tonight come forward and join us on the stage. These are John Okey, a former CIO of USDA, Bob Suda, a former member of the USDA CIO leadership team, Dave McClure, and Martha Doris. And we'd also like Margie Graves to come to the stage too.
This way?
What are we doing? How many dozen? Suck it in. There you go, Suda.
Good evening. On the stage, obviously, are 3 or 4 distinguished guests. The John J. Franke Award is given out once a year. This is our number 17 or 18th year doing this. These are for individuals who actually have given to government for a long period of time. So I'm sort of going to walk through what John was all about and then sort of give you who the awardee will be for this year. So for the past 17 years, ACT-IAC has annually presented the John J. Franke Award to an individual who, as a government employee, has made exceptional and valuable contributions to our nation over a period of time. We are pleased to continue that tradition tonight. The award is named after the late John J. Franke, a Kansas native, whose first government service was as a Marine in Korea. John J. Franke rose from a county commissioner to become the regional administrator of EPA and later served as the Assistant Secretary of Administration at the Department of Agriculture. You hear a theme here? After 7 years in that position, he was appointed to the Director of Federal Quality Institute, where he championed the cause for good government. His service to the country was cut short by his ultimate death in 1991 with a courageous battle of cancer. Throughout his career, John Franke was known for his commitment to better government, his loyalty and support for those who worked with him and for him, and his adherence to the highest professional standards. Those who knew him, actually John and I did know John J. Franke, and worked with him remember him as someone who believed in the basic goodness of people and to value every person no matter what their position was in the organization. Despite being a political appointee, he was on a first-name basis with secretaries, mail clerks, guards, and janitors. He made all employees feel important. He also believed in the importance of working together. He often said, "We make progress by using a little common sense and by getting people to talk to each other." John J. Franke did not care about job titles or statute. He worked with everyone, encouraging the best from each, and always leading the way of dignity, honesty, compassion, and wisdom. This year's recipient exhibits all of those attributes. This year's recipient is someone who has spent most of his career in the federal government. For the past 20 years, he has been tackling some of the biggest challenges in the acquisition arena we have ever seen. This individual is the government's foremost expert on federal contracting, and his sustained excellence in this field has directly impacted hundreds of thousands of federal employees, hundreds of thousands of contractors and subcontractors, and has helped shape the way in which the government spends most of its $1 trillion in federal contracts each year. His expertise, management intuition, intellectual ability has served him well, and us as well as he tackles some of the biggest issues in the procurement arena. He has played an important role in shaping foundational acquisition legislation, such as the Federal Acquisition Streamlining Act, the Cleaner Cohen Act, and the Services Acquisition Reform Act, and nearly every acquisition provision that has passed in other legislative vehicles, as well as the important acquisition initiatives across various administrations. He is proactive in finding better solutions and strategies. Recognizing complexity in the acquisition system often hinders technical innovation. He and his team wrote the Tech FAR to elevate existing FAR authorities for acquiring information technology. Then, realizing this alone would not promote innovation, he crafted guidance to direct agencies to institutionalize innovation in their acquisition practices and complemented this effort with joint acquisition and IT training programs. He has led the development of almost every federal acquisition regulation to implement legislation, executive action, and other guidance. He is masterful at negotiating the details with agencies and is forever mindful of the burden that changes the system placed on contracting officers, program managers, and industry. As a result, it's always a thoughtful implementation, often paired with outreach and training for a very complex set of rules that artfully balances many competing demands and policy positions. This is an individual who also practices a high priority on encouraging and developing other members of the organization. He successfully leads a team of exceptional individuals. Another attribute in his strong support of public-private collaboration and willingness to listen to different points of view. He has supported and participated in ACT-IAC and many organizations over the years. He is a graduate of the College of William & Mary. He has a law degree from George Washington University. ACT-IAC is a lawyer-free zone. And this may be the first time we have ever recognized an attorney for exceptional accomplishments. That's an oxymoron, actually. But we are honored to do so this year. The 2017 recipient of the John J. Franke Award is the Associate Administrator of the Office of Federal Procurement Policy, Matthew Blum.
Thank you. I want to be that person. Well, I'm greatly honored to receive this award in John Franke's memory and to be part of such a distinguished group of recipients who, like Mr. Franke, epitomize excellence in public service. I have always been very proud to be a public servant and have the opportunity to make government more responsive to the needs of our citizens. Perhaps this pride can be traced back to growing up in this area and having had the good fortune to see so many people, including my father and brother, take the work of the federal government on with such drive and commitment. Of course, when you grow up in a town that is heavily exposed to bureaucracy, it does have its funny moments. I remember when I was 6 years old and told one of my friends that if I put a tooth under the pillow, the tooth fairy would leave me a quarter. My friend looked at me with a sense of surprise in his face and then explained that at his house, he too would receive a quarter, but only after he filled out the tooth fairy reimbursement form. I guess I should add that that was before the Office of Information and Regulatory Affairs was established, so maybe that explains it. My dad proudly served at the Department of Agriculture for 40 years, and ironically, his service at USDA overlapped with Mr. Franke's tenure as USDA's Assistant Secretary for Administration. I don't know if they ever met, but I'm convinced that they knew each other in kindred spirit, if not in person. My dad believed that government was a problem solver and in the goodness of people to be responsible and civil members of their community. He rarely was in the spotlight, but took great pride as a division director in nurturing and encouraging his team to do their very best. He also took pleasure in knowing he was part of a much larger core of dedicated civil servants on whom the country depends for institutional knowledge and the effective delivery of service to our citizens from one administration to the next. He and my mom, who was a teacher and a loving nurturer in her own right, gave me a solid grounding for many of the ideals I have tried to follow throughout my career in meeting my pledge to be a responsible steward to the taxpayer. Do your work with purpose and passion. No matter the program in which you are working or the level of your responsibility, helping our citizens starts with each of us and our commitment and determination to set and achieve goals. Be good to your colleagues and the people on your team. Remember, the workforce is the lifeblood of the government. Have patience and celebrate incremental progress. As my colleague Leslie Field said recently, the arc of our craft is long, but not always linear. Enduring transformation comes from accumulating small changes over time. And reach out to the community whenever you can, and equally important, meet people where they are so they can engage and help enable you to make more informed decisions. It is probably this last point that has kept me at OMB for almost my entire federal career, as there probably is no other place in government with more levers to convene people for the purpose of solving problems. It is also why I am especially humbled to be recognized by ACT-IAC today. For so many years, you have, including many of you in this room, have created platforms to help our government meet the ever-changing demands of our citizens. You have made progress possible by standing up communities of interest and creating understandable and engaging narratives that turn complicated issues into more manageable ones. You have encouraged the technology community to strive for excellence by celebrating game-changing innovations, like USAID's Global Innovation Exchange, which we heard a lot about today, which is democratizing information access and connecting innovators, funders, and experts so that they can bring critical innovations to developing countries that so desperately need them. Perhaps most importantly, you are inspiring the next generation of our country's thought leaders through the public-private mentorship of your Voyagers program, and I'm so pleased to be here and part of their celebration tonight. Irrespective of how much or little they spend in federal service, each Voyager has already learned the important lesson that the potential to achieve has few boundaries when our communities work together to solve common problems. So, as you heard tonight, John Franke was known to say, we'll make progress by getting people to talk each other. As we honor his memory today, take pride in the work that you've done with this organization and others to create impactful dialogue. And remember that each time you reach out to work constructively with others to solve problems, you are making it easier for the government to operate more effectively and hopefully for the people it serves to live better lives. Thank you again for this very kind recognition and for your ongoing work and collaboration to make our government stronger and better. Thank you very much.
Can I get a picture over here?
Okay.
So,
Here we are.
Margie.
I know. We have spent the last year together as comrades in arms of being at the leadership of this organization, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate the following. Dave and I met about 6 or 7 years ago, and we started working together in the CIO Council, and particularly Dave was at GSA, and he was running the Citizen Services. So he was the original.
Right. Well, it's, you know, the wonderful thing about this organization is the collaboration between government and industry. And Margie and I have been a tag team for the last year, and it's just been a pleasure working with Margie. Shows up all the time, always loaded with ideas, always enthusiastic about ACT-IAC getting engaged with EOP, OMB, and agencies, and so it's just been a pleasure to work with Margie, to have someone with so much enthusiasm, so much dedication to the association, sitting beside me, helping me guide it, because it's a tag team. It's definitely a tag team effort to make things work out. So I really appreciate the time that we've had together in the leadership positions.
And one of the things that I really appreciate is, even though Dave was in the government and we were working together in that arena, as soon as he moved out into private sector, nothing changed. He still always has the government at heart. He still always has the solutions he wants to provide the government at heart. He understands what we need because he's been there and done that. And I use him constantly as a sounding board for everything that we're trying to accomplish. There are very few people that you can go to on a regular basis and get kind of thoughtful input. And in the cyber arena where he works now, I'm still getting that thoughtful input. And every once in a while, I get called out on something I'm not doing correctly.
All in good faith, all in good faith. So I would like to ask Mitzi to come up. And Soraya Correa, who is the incoming ACT president, is on her way here and probably won't make it in time, but if so, we'll get her up on stage. But I'd like Mitzi to come up if she can. So our bylaws, have us elect new members to the executive committee, both for ACT and IAC, and we also elect a new vice chair who, by tradition, on the IAC side, becomes the incoming person for the chair position the following year. So we'd like to introduce you tonight to the new leadership on the ACT side and pass our gavels to our successors so that they can use them to pound the board into the good things they do. 3 members of the IAC committee, executive committee, have completed their terms, and they weren't eligible to run again, but I would like to acknowledge them mainly because of what they've done. And believe me, when you serve on this executive committee, you see the time and the effort and the dedication that goes into running the association. Brian Bonacci, who's, I don't think Brian is here. Brian just led an enormous effort for us this year on membership, actually doing a membership survey and brainstorming about ways in which we can make sure that we're taking care of our member companies and doing new things to attract a broader range of companies as well. So Brian's just been invaluable to me over the last year. Lisa Martin, Lisa's here. Where are you, Lisa? Okay. Lisa is our small business champion, and we hate to see her leave the board, but she's just done a fantastic job in supporting and always making sure that small business is represented. And lastly, Adelaide O'Brien is leaving us. I know Adelaide is not here. You talk about somebody that has made an impact on this association. She has run the communities of interest as the overall chairperson. I was at their last meeting this past week, and it's really hard and difficult to see her leave. We'll probably need 5 people to fill her shoes, but Adelaide has just been, again, a champion of this association, and really appreciate the work that she's done and look forward to her involvement in other ways in the future. 3 other members of the executive committee are completing the first term, and they were eligible to run again, and we just concluded the elections for the IAC Executive Committee, and I'd like to announce tonight the results of who will be our new vice chairs at large for the year beginning July 1st. I'll do them in I'll do them in no particular order, I don't think. Maybe it's, no, it's alphabetical, I'm sorry. First, Susan Becker from Unisys. Stand up. Yvette Granier-Smith from General Dynamics Information Technology. Malcolm Harden from CGI Federal. Rick Holgate from Gartner. I'm not sure Rick is here. Is Rick here? Rick is no stranger, as you know, past ACT chair. Cynthia Shelton from CenturyLink. Sundar Vaidyanathan from Carson Solutions. And Tim Young from Deloitte. If you were at the last member meeting, all of the candidates gave 3-minute talks, and believe me, there were some exceptional words parlayed to the membership on interest, dedication, ideas for this organization. It was an extremely competitive election and just a wonderful slate of candidates to have. And I want to thank everybody that ran, won, and did not win. There were those that did not. We will engage those that did not make it in many other different ways, and we'll keep this thing going full speed ahead. I'd like to also recognize the members of the IAC Executive Committee who are remaining on as members. Their terms are not up. If you'd stand, please. Kathy Conrad from Accenture. Marty Cummins from Integrated Support Systems. Jackie Everett from DXC. And Paul Strasser from PPC. Paul? The other big decision for this election was to elect a new vice chair. As I said, the vice chair shadows the chair for a year, becomes the chair, becomes past chair. So, you know, it's a sequence here. I'm really excited to announce that the membership elected Richard Spires as the executive vice chair. '18, Richard, 2018. So as you can see, this association is in extremely good hands. The quality, the caliber of candidates, the diversity of views, the diversity of backgrounds, diversity of companies, I think really is outstanding, and I think it's really going to be an exciting year for us. It's also at this time in which I'm going to formally hand over to Mitzi the reins of IAC as the incoming chair. Mitzi? No, I'm not. So, let me get back over here to the podium. I'd like to invite Margie's up here, because we also have made decisions on the ACT side. So, Margie, I'd like for you to introduce the ACT board.
Well, ACT, like IAC, refreshes the leadership in July, and I'm pleased to note that the following individuals have been re-elected to new terms on the ACT Executive Committee. Kay Ely from GSA. Okay. Greg Giddens from VA. Don Johnson, DOD. Jolene Merkel, FAA. Maria Rote, SBA. And we've also added some new folks. Joining the ACT Executive Committee are Bill James from VA, Sean Kelly from EPA, Tom Michelli from the Coast Guard. Joanne Wotek from NASA. And they join current ACT Executive Committee participants Darren Ash of USDA, Chris Ham of GSA, Herb Strauss, SSA, and our own Leslie Field from OMB. Renee Wynn also remains on the executive committee, but in the position of executive vice president. She will become ACT president in July of 2018. Renee is from NASA and couldn't be with us today, but she's the next ACT president in July of 2018. We also have several other candidates who've been invited to join the ACT Executive Committee whom we cannot announce as they're still in the process, as we know, of being cleared by their ethics team. This is a great ACT Executive Committee, and I look forward to continuing on the Executive Committee as the past president. Now, however, it's my pleasure to pass the gavel of leadership on to Soraya Correa. She couldn't be here with us tonight, but in the ceremonial intent is still there, so I'm going to pick up the gavel, and I'm going to hold it in front of her lovely picture. So good luck this year. If you need anything, Dave and I are on vacation. But seriously, we're available to you as a resource. That's one thing about, you've seen the whole continuity of this organization tonight. You've seen the graduates. You've seen the people who have won the John Franke Award. You've seen the folks that are in the room that have been a part of this organization and have made it work and are its life's blood. The volunteerism, the camaraderie, the way that we gather and exchange ideas, it truly is a family. And I hope that you will call upon Dave and myself in any way or capacity that you might need in order to further the goals of ACT-IAC in the future.
Thank you.
So my question is, can I take this to the bar with me? Let me put this down. Thank you, Dave and Margie, and congratulations again to the Voyagers. They're off to their meeting. So this, their meeting. So this concludes this portion of the evening. We still have a busy day tomorrow. We're looking forward to our CXO roundtable. So if you could, please be in your seats no later than 8:30 a.m. sharp, right after breakfast. So as you arrive tomorrow, the tables will be on the screens, so decide where you want to sit and go to your tables. And this is how it's going to work. There's going to be an industry host and a government host at each table. There will be a question at each table, the question will be the same for all the tables. The questions will be discussed at the table. Francis Rose will then go around and get some input on that. Then after we've wrapped up that question, the government host and the industry host will move to the next table. We'll do that 3 times, 3 total questions. So industry and government will have the ability to interact with 3 different government executives. So then following the CXO roundtable, we're going to have a CPO panel that Soraya is going to run, and she's going to lead us in a provocative discussion around innovation in procurement. So right now, due to the weather, we are going, and I'm going to take that with me, we're going to go outside and have our dessert reception. We have some, they're calling s'mores indoors. So let's go on out to our reception. Thank you so much. It's been a great day, and we'll see everybody in the morning.